Welcome to the Get Offset podcast. My name is Emily.
And my name is Andrew.
And I am just trying to contain excitement, anxiety, emotions.
Yep.
We are recording this on Super Bowl Sunday in the morning. We are 3 hours away from coverage starting.
Yep.
Which is about 6 hours away from the game starting.
Which is 10 hours away from the game ending.
Yeah. At least 10 hours. With the way the playoff games went, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 11 hours away from the game ending.
Right. I don't know. I put my prediction in the Discord server.
Which you could see if you were a Patreon supporter at the $5 a month level. Patreon.com/getoffset.
Now, I'm not a betting person. I don't make cash bets. It's just not something that I do out of self-care. But if I were a betting person, what I would bet is the following. Final score, 27-31. Bengals win. Bengals are going into fourth quarter after the 2-minute warning. They're going down the field. They're trying to get they've got 24 points. Rams have 27. They're just trying to get into field goal range. And in the process of the Rams trying to stop them from getting into field goal range, they accidentally let somebody through for a touchdown to bring it up to 31 points.
Andrew, this is one of those cases where I've told you to stop making predictions on this show because you predicted some nasty shit that came true. I hope this is the one where, you're right.
I hope so, too. I'm admittedly, I don't have a lot of skin in this game.
Yeah.
I'd honestly be happy, genuinely happy either way. So I
wouldn't.
I don't have any jitters. Because, on one hand, as a Chargers fan, I kind of actually want the Rams. So I wouldn't mind the Rams winning because as a Chargers fan, I kind of want to be this is what you get for moving to LA to join a team that was already there and already had a fan base. Leaving behind your own fan base, and now you're just going to watch them win the Super Bowl and continue to lose fans. So that would be my big FU to Mr. Spanos. But the flip side of that is Bengals are good gravy. Talk about an underdog story, and I'm a huge fan of the little engine that could kind of stories.
I got my orange distortion pedals. I got another orange. Got my orange boys. But I'm going to hold real close.
Yeah, hold all the orange boys real close, which is where I'm getting. Which is my tiebreaker between the two teams of who I'm going to end up rooting for. Is if it's a 50-50 split down the middle, if one team's orange and one team's not, that's instant deal breaker or tiebreaker right there. So go Bengals. Who day?
Go Bengals.
I never
to bring
thought.
It back to music.
I was just going to say, I never thought I'd identify with Ohio so much. So.
Well, you've been co-hosting a podcast for several years with an Ohioan, so it happens. It wears off on you. To bring it back to music, when I was 20, I interned at the Beggars Group. That's one of those labels is Vampire Weekend's label, or was, and that was when Contra. That was when Contra came out, and on my second to last day, I think it was, the band was doing a photo shoot nearby, and the CDs and stuff for Contra had come in. So I was tasked with joining the publicist. I was the PR intern, so I was tasked with joining the publicist at the shoot, bringing the guys copies of their new CD. And they were so nice to me. And the drummer, Chris, is a huge Bengals fan. He likes the Bengals. So I hope he's watching tonight and cheering for the Bengals, Chris. I was just thinking about that last night because I made a TikTok of my Mad Cat guitar, which is hanging up next to an autographed poster I got at Vampire Weekend from the Contra record. I also picked up the masters for that record and delivered them to the label. So that's my little contribution to a number one record.
Well, there
Probably
you
the
go.
closest I'll ever get to one. Yeah. Yes. It was very exciting. Yeah, but I do have a what's new this week.
Oh.
It's a pizza pedal. It's the Slice of Pie. It's the Big Ear Pedals and Tone Mob collaboration.
I'm so happy about that. But you want to know what I want to know the most?
What?
Who did they get to do that enclosure? Because that's so cool.
F5 Metalworks is what Heather from godsmom.com said.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So there's actually credits. Enclosure design is Jesse from Rude Tech. Circuit is Zach from Mythos Pedals. Powder coating and printing is F5 Metalworks. Oh! I just powder coating and printing. So Grant, I was on a live stream on a 60 Cycle Hum with Grant.
Yep.
I was on a live stream with 60 Cycle Hum and Grant this Friday. Their normal Friday, 3 p.m. Live stream over there at 60 Cycle Hum. And Grant said that basically they had to get a welder to custom fabricate these. So when there are people in like the Guitar Pedals Reddit or the Gear page saying that like this shouldn't be more than $50, they're telling on themselves for having absolutely no understanding of how this works.
Yep.
Like, this is not an enclosure you buy from Love My Switches or whatever. Like, this is custom made, and the bulk of the price of this unit, I'm actually shocked that it's only $200.
Yeah, like if it was an enclosure that had like a number designation that sounded like a tax form, sure, $50 could be doable. You get your 1099B, but
yeah,
that is homegrown right there.
Yeah,
no matter really how you slice it.
And it sounds massive. It sounds great, and it's very photorealistic. F5 Metalworks does such a great job with the printing and powder coating. Like, I didn't know you could print such high resolution graphics on a guitar pedal.
I wonder what they do. Like, I'm wondering what they did for the print process. Does it say?
No. Answer your question.
Cool.
Thank you for asking if it said, and not if I knew, and not just like, what did they do? Sure.
I'm just a sucker for the details because I like to know. I like to wrap my head around how things like operate and work and what goes into something.
It's just the attention to detail in every element of that. Because like they hired me to do like the unboxing and then do a little bit of a playthrough.
Right.
It was, the box looks like a pizza box. Mm-hmm. The instructions are like a pizza menu. It's obviously shaped like a piece of pizza.
Right.
And it's printed on 3 sides. So you have the top, the back of the crust,
yep,
and the bottom of the crust.
You want to know why they didn't print on the sides?
Why?
Because that would have put Blake awfully close to looking like he was supporting deep dish as a pizza. You know I'm right. You know I'm right.
I like deep dish. I think it tastes delicious.
I also love deep dish. Mm-hmm. That sounds really good. Oh, you want to know? Look, I'm gonna rage about pizza for a minute.
Okay. Oh, are you gonna talk about mod pizza?
Yes, I'm gonna talk about mod pizza. I'm actually like kind of mad. Like,
I think you should be, because I agree that is deceptive.
Incredibly deceptive. So
y'all gotta listen to this bullshit.
This is absolute garbage. So took the family out to dinner last night, or really to get takeout, bring home, and movie night. But decided to go to Mod Pizza. I've been working really hard on eating right lately. And, like, obviously, like, there's no amount of getting around that. No matter what you substitute, pizza's still not going to be super healthy. So, but I was fudging it a little bit. But we decided on Mod Pizza because they had a cauliflower crust option and we could all get individual pizzas. Get home, eat them, like, this is really, how is this cauliflower? Like, that's really convincingly, like, bready. All right. And then I was like, no, there's no way this is just cauliflower. So I looked up the ingredients and it's like, yeah, it's cauliflower, but it also has, and none of this is at all talked about. Like, it just says like cauliflower crust in the store. Like, that implies in any given context that this should be like a low carb / keto friendly option. And it's got rice starch, tapioca powder, a whole bunch of other things in it that they've added in with the cauliflower. So it's like really just like a dashed cauliflower with a others refined carbs tie-in, which, like, on one hand, I'm like, that would have been fine if they just told me, and I probably would have just got the regular crust and enjoyed my pizza more. But
that sucks, dude.
I'm annoyed. It's not the end of the world. It's not like I'm allergic to anything, because that would have been weird. But this is just me trying to shed some poundage, and it's not the end of the world by any means. It's just more of a, let's see here. Cauliflower crust is also made with rice flour, tapioca starch, rice starch, modified food starch, and cultured brown rice.
I mean, none of those things are inherently bad, but if you go in there thinking that you're getting, like, I would like for them to say, okay, so it is, that's a lot. It is a lot of carbs. It is 348 carbs. Sorry, I actually pulled it up. 126 fat and 72 protein. So it's mostly a carb still.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I'm looking at the Donato's website, because Donato's is a pizza place that I like. They sell it at Red Robin. They have a cauliflower crust option.
Yep.
And they're actually very clear. It has 30% fewer carbs than their normal pizza crust. So they're just like, it's 30% fewer.
Yeah,
and they're just like clear. Which
is fine. And I'm sure that this one was a little bit better, but it's one of those, like, if it's only going to be a little bit better, I'll just enjoy the real thing.
Yeah.
I would have just gotten a smaller one, had more salad.
Yeah, to be clear, Mod Pizza crusts they're pretty thin. It's not like you're getting like a big doughy experience.
Right.
It's the same with Donato's. Donato's is a cracker crust anyway. It's already kind of like a lower carb pizza if you're going for like pizzas. But, Well,
I just feel hoodwinked.
It's not keto.
Bamboozled. Led astray even. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I'm sorry. That sucks.
It's okay. The pizza was still delicious. And I feel no guilt because I refuse to have a guilty relationship with my food.
Good. That's healthy. I had a Skyline cheese coney last night. I made a big pot of Skyline. We're going to make Skyline Dip.
Nice.
Take it over to my brother's, which is cream cheese, Skyline chili, and then normal cheese. Which is fun. Man, I feel like I was having a big, like, mental moment because I could have sworn there were more ingredients in Skyline chili dip. Like, I for sure thought it was more than 3 things. And I'm like looking, I'm like, how is it only, I thought it was like a 7-layer dip. I thought there was like, for some reason, I thought there was like shredded lettuce in there. I thought people put tomatoes in there. I don't know if people like, where I live just like did it up, but now like I'm like pulling back and thinking like maybe it always was just the 3 things.
Maybe.
That's gonna be delicious.
My game day food today is going to be smoked chicken thighs. Compromising, like small cheat compromise instead of breast. I'm going to go thighs.
Why is that a compromise? Thighs taste better. They have more fat.
Because they have more fat, and I'm going for
fat doesn't make you fat.
But I'm intentionally
that makes you full.
I'm intentionally overdoing the diet thing for the next 6 more weeks, because
But fat makes you full.
there's a $500 gift card on the line at my gym for whoever loses the most.
But fat makes you full, not fat.
Well, I'm doing that. I'm doing an antipasto salad of sorts. So I'm basically just going to cut a bunch of veggies in oil and vinegar, call it a day. And then I'll do some bread for my guests on the grill.
Nice.
I'll have a small slice.
That's good. Rick smoked 2 pulled pork butts last night. We're taking that over to my brother's.
Nice.
Along with the chili dip. So we're not going to go hungry.
Does not sound like it.
No. The only thing missing is I don't think we picked up any graters. Yeah. Rick might have picked up a bottle of champagne, and I'm very afraid of. I'm scared.
Well, now if the Bengals lose, we know why. It's all about, you should have got the graters. That's the butterfly effect.
To be clear, it's actually it's Prosecco. So everybody listening to this on Tuesday is either like or like happy for me.
Right.
So, future Emily, it's okay either way. The Super Bowl is a big win for the people of Cincinnati. This is a good team.
Yep.
We should be happy that we even made it.
Indeed. And we should also be happy to see hopefully more cute animals in Super Bowl commercials this year. That's what I'm hoping the trend is for the year. It's just cute animals. And
not weird brands trying to sound all inspirational. I've been watching the Winter Olympics a lot because I love the Olympics. I especially love the Winter Olympics. Just because some of the sports like curling is like fancy shuffleboard that's bigger. So it's like,
sure.
It's like it happens in a bar and like the teams can hear like what the other teams are saying. So it's just like a very interesting energy about it. And I just love it so much. And some of the commercials are like, I don't know what this is a commercial for. And it's almost always like Discover Card.
Sure.
Like how the hell is this commercial about like my father being there for me even when he's not there for me physically, about a fucking credit card?
Right. But it's because they've found a way to make subliminal messaging overt, therefore subverting the purpose of said messaging.
Yeah. If you can remember that it's a Discover Card commercial at the end.
Right, but the idea is like when next time you see a Discover Card, you're like, oh, Dad. Yeah.
The thing is, like, that's the last credit card I would ever get, like, because places don't take Discover Card.
Yep.
Whatever. The
Back
other
curling.
new thing I got. The other new thing I got was an iRig Stream Pro.
Ooh, fancy.
So if you don't already follow Get Offset on TikTok, I am going to break this in by playing a harmonica through a maw.
Oh. iRig has come a long way from just like the little aux jack input.
Oh, yeah, because I had that when it first came out, and it was fucking awesome. I'm very profane
That's
today.
not
it was
the
really
word
awesome.
I was thinking of, but sure.
Dude, okay, all right, you were different. Okay, but you're younger, so, like, you don't... We're different. We're different because we had different, like, expectations of technology. Like, my original recording was recording into like the microphone of a cassette player, and like that's how I was recording like memories and demos, or like being able to record from an aux jack into like my iPad into GarageBand or whatever. Game changer for like getting ideas down, like in songwriting class and stuff.
Right.
Oh, amazing.
Anyways, back to curling before I forget. It's like, it seems like the most like Canadian making lemonade out of lemons kind of situations. Like, it's so cold that there's even ice inside, so I might as well play on it. Like,
I think it's really cool to watch them on the shoes because the bottoms of the shoes are so slippery and then they're just pushing themselves along with the sides. And it's almost like they're moonwalking, or it feels like a glitch in the Matrix if you're just like kind of like half-ass watching and then you're like, how are they physically moving right now?
I feel like that would be really fun to watch if I was super stoned.
Yeah, I was a little stoned last night, I would be honest.
Yep, there you go.
Watching the men's Canadian. US men's versus the Canadians. We got rocked.
when I'm ready to retire, I'm just gonna be stoned watching curling all the time. I think that's my retirement plan.
My matron of honor's kid sister did curling for a while.
Oh,
yeah. I've never talked to her about it, but I think she had a lot of fun. It looks like fun.
It seems like it's like in the same vein of like spike ball and like other fun things to do with like a group of bros.
Yeah,
it's kind of the vibe I get.
Yeah, and you don't have to be like in shape, really. It's like they're not super duper in shape Olympians. You just have to like. You have to have good strategy and be able to execute that strategy. Did you see that glitch in the Matrix that just happened?
I did.
I don't know.
So anyways, back to curling.
No.
I'm kidding.
God damn it.
Glitch in the Matrix.
Back to
little deja vu moment.
Back to TikTok, probably.
Back to TikTok.
Oh, what's new with you? What's new with you, though?
What's new with me? Jeez. Got a TV.
Nice.
That's my big what's new. Outside of that, I've been pretty swamped this week, but we went without a TV for darn near a year. And finally, it was like, well, we've been thinking about it for a couple months now. And then Super Bowl weekend, we're like, well, yeah, it might be time.
Yeah.
So got one. I worked hours out from the Super Bowl. I'm supposed to have friends over in like 4 hours, and I need to like move the TV on the wall for like a foot over. So the mount we got, like it's like you mount it to the studs, and then you can slide the actual like mount to like the wall plate.
Right.
So I've got plenty of room to move it over, but that means I have to take the TV off, lean it against the couch, undo a few screws, then scooch it over, redo the few screws, and then put the TV back on, set screw, all that.
Nice.
It feels a little bit like bringing my work home since I do audio, video stuff for work right now. So just got home with the TV, like, all right, we're going to do it. I'm like, I don't really want to. So it took me forever to do it because I was dragging my feet.
My big regret for our TV mount was not getting one that you can like pull back and like swivel.
That's what we got.
Yeah, I regret it because now if I'm like in the kitchen cooking, I can't watch the TV.
I always recommend getting the swivel mount. It's actually what I've got. My computer monitor's on a swivel mount. I mean,
oh, mine are both on swivel mounts.
Yeah, I've got always a fan of that. And even if you don't plan on ever using it, the reason why I recommend it is the ability to come out and back in. Makes it so much easier if you have to swap out a cable or add something new, rather than try and climb back up there and you end up snapping an HDMI cable. Because that was a terrible, whoever designed that, terrible design choice in terms of durability. But
yeah, that's another concern I have. We might just swap out the mount at some point, but it's just maybe.
I get you the hookup. So, if you don't have a Costco membership, I could get you the hookup. It's a really reasonable deal.
If we don't have a Costco membership, I'm sorry. Pacific Northwesterners
that was the most
Costco
like
membership.
That's the closest I think I've ever come to like a middle class fancy like dad flex, like challenging, like you got a Costco membership. If you don't got one, I can. It's like being extra nice, but like in a shady way.
Yeah. No, we have a Costco membership. Yeah, we do. Their electronic deals are okay.
That's where I got my TV.
But we got ours on Best Buy, and then we got like 2% cash back from something else, and it was on sale. So, but back to TikTok. Oh, we lost all the subscribers. Oh, sorry, guys.
You went from making fun of me for being a digital native to talking the digital native's language. Make up your mind. Who's your audience?
You're a young millennial.
I I mean, yeah, I'm not quite digital native. I remember when the iPhone came out, which I think disqualifies me from being cool.
Oh, that's a disqualifier? Is that it?
No, it's if you look at like the divide between millennial and Gen Z. So like I was born in 94, and then between 94 and 98, you get that range of where people say Gen Z started. And the two milestones that people bring up for are you Gen Z or not are, one, do you remember 9/11? And two, do you remember when the iPhone came out? And
that's interesting.
Like,
because those were so far apart.
They were
8 years apart.
But 9/11 was more
6 years apart.
9/11 was more impactful for younger kids, like in terms of like traumatic. You remember that the iPhone, like being old enough to, because back in the day we didn't just get phones when we were in 5th grade. If you're old enough to like have the phone and like recognize like what was going on, be like, oh, this is weird, and it's kind of in tandem with that. So if you're born in 98, you might not. If you're born in 98, you're 9 years old when the iPhone came out. That might not have registered as something notable in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. But TikTok, I make TikToks.
Mm-hmm.
And this month is Black History Month. So I decided to do a TikTok, just kind of repeating a claim that I'm not the first person to make. And actually quite a few people have made, including She Shreds. I said, this is a friendly reminder that a Black woman, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, invented rock and roll. Now,
controversy. Rage.
Well, her nickname is the godmother of rock and roll. So, like, and she was in the early 40s before the term rock and roll existed. It's pretty widely regarded that she's one of the most important figures in rock and roll. Before rock, you had a name. So to say she invented it, I think is pretty fair, or a pioneer of it, however you want to say that. And, you know, I expected people to like have disagreements about like who invented it. I expected people to say like it was reductive, which, you know, it's TikTok. It's like a 3-minute max video. What do you want?
Yeah,
you
short form content, reductive, which I think is one of the problems with it in a philosophical level.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, it's TikTok. But so I kind of expected, you know, misogynists to come out a little bit. You know, Sun Records had great PR, and they convinced people that Rocket 88 was the first rock and roll song. And, you know, I got a lot of people saying that, and that's fair. I would just point out, you know, hey, her song, Strange Things Happening Every Day, has all the same elements that are kind of required in what we would define as the first rock song. God bless you.
Thank you.
Andrew sneezed several times off microphone. It looked like he pulled a back muscle.
Yeah,
sorry about that, buddy. But yeah, so her song Strange Things Happening Every Day was a crossover gospel pop hit and has all the same elements that Rocket 88 has, minus the distorted guitar that literally didn't exist yet, because that happened in the studio by accident for that recording session. But it happened earlier, like 3 years earlier. So better PR, yada, yada, yada. And I like to point out that music historians don't even agree that Rocket 88 is the first rock song. Some don't like it for that pick for first rock song because it is a shuffle beat, which I think is kind of bullshit. Exactly. Yep. Some people think that you can't, that disqualifies something as the first rock song, which I think is stupid, but fine.
As a drummer, I can at least I can understand and appreciate the argument to be had there.
Oh yeah, I can appreciate the argument. I just don't think it's fair.
Salient.
I think that I get it. I mean, you want to have like a more driving beat for sure.
Four
I think
on the
that's
floor.
Fair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but what I didn't expect was the racism.
What?
Listen, like, I'm not going to sit here and say I thought we solved racism, because I'm not an idiot. I'm not that naive. However, I really thought we'd gotten past the point of thinking white people invented rock.
You're just being woke.
Listen, if I had to pick the first, like, 10 rock songs that were, like, hits, I think there'd be one white person. And it's not anybody. It'd be fucking Hank Williams. Like, and where'd he get that sound? Black people.
Well,
like,
and then the extra layer of mind blowing to that is that's not even taking into account that was still during segregation, and not all black artists had access to recording studios, and there's music that just never got recorded from that era.
Yeah, recording studios were still expensive. There was access. It was segregated access.
So
I mean,
what we have recordings of is such a
was
small sample size of what
such a
was
small sample.
actually happening. But then I guarantee you every white person with a guitar was getting recorded about that time. So
Yeah.
And
then, of course, we have what was very common, which was a black artist would record something and then a white artist would immediately record it and have a hit with it. And
Right.
that's what we remember.
right.
And that's what, Elvis did that very famously
Yep.
in the 50s. But rock and roll really started in the 40s. I think most historians agree with that. And if you want to talk about, like, the first rock music, when you think about the white artists, they were like rockabilly kind of stuff. People are going to be thinking of, like, Bill Haley and the Comets for, like, early rock. And that's just the stuff that was on, like, the white charts. But, like, they were inspired by black artists who just couldn't get radio play. And this is not, like, a conspiracy theory. This is just facts.
Contextualization is everything. And when you take away the context and allow a certain group of people to do all of the storytelling in a way that only makes them look good, to kind of whitewash history a bit, it's almost as if they don't want critical race theory around for a reason.
It's just taking, if you take away the context, then it looks like white people invented rock.
Right.
Because that's just what it looks like on the Billboard charts. Because that's what was charting. But if you take...
The data can be so misleading.
It really can. It takes away a lot of things. But shoot. Oh, actually, Rocket 88 came out on 51. So Strange Things Happening Every Day had 6 or 7 years on it. So, I mean, if a lot of people consider that to be the first rock song, that wasn't white artists either. You have to go pretty far in advance to get to white artists. I think Hank Williams probably had one of the more rockin' songs with Move It On Over, I think, is one of them. Like, he had some rockin' songs.
Sure.
He did. But there's, Now, so I was just really surprised by that. One guy, I just deleted his comment and I didn't respond to it. He said, "You may be right, but the problem with you millennials is that you're apologizing for things you didn't do," which I wasn't apologizing for anything. I was just, like, stating something that I believe to be a truthful fact. And he said, "And there you go, taking the side of the black race when you're in the white race. Quit it." I can't believe it took me 32 years to get called a race traitor. I've been working so hard. Yeah, I just deleted that one.
But Emily, racism doesn't exist anymore.
Human race, man. I don't care. I'm like, if you're saying the problem with millennials and you're talking like that, then you are too old to be on TikTok. I'm too old to be on TikTok. How are you here? Are you just there to, like, tell millennials to to stick to their own race? Like, what? It's the weirdest, one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to me on the internet. And there's
The
been
problem with
plenty.
millennials, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, come join me on Stormfront. Like, come on, people.
Is that what he was trying to do? Maybe.
Recruiting, I don't know. That wouldn't
Some guy
shock me
said
based
that
on that comment.
Some guy said that I had to give credit to the white people who invented the guitar, the electric guitar, amplifiers, amplification, and electricity, or something like that. I had to thank the white people who invented electricity, Andrew. Invented electricity. Invented electricity.
That's shocking.
I mean, the earliest versions of guitars were discovered in ancient Egypt, but go off, sir.
Are you calling him a liar?
I mean, the modern guitar was invented in Spain. A modern electric guitar was invented in America? Spain? I forget who invented the electric guitar. I think it was the guy from Dan Electro? Who invented
I know the answer to this question, and my brain is just completely blanking out because I'm like, my brain wants to say like Gibson L series something.
Oh, I'm so mad at myself. I knew it was like a guitar name. Adolf Rickenbacker and
That's
George
what it was.
Beauchamp. Yeah.
Well, anyways, thanks to them. Moving on with what actually matters in this discussion. Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Badass.
Yes. There's a great book about her called Shout, Sister, Shout that was made into a musical that I highly recommend checking out.
Yeah. The wild thing to me is it's endlessly frustrating for someone to say, but this, and you forgot about this, in an attempt to detract from, unrightfully so, from the contributions of an individual.
Yes, or an entire group of individuals.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Sister Rosetta Tharpe is she did not get her flowers when she was alive. And she was not inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame until very recently. She was largely uncredited for her contributions to music for a very long time, despite her playing style influencing hosts of people, especially her guitar playing style.
Mm-hmm.
She did a lot of things that people wouldn't do for years. And she was really a pioneer, and she deserves credit for that. I don't think that it's possible really to overcredit her for her contributions in early music, in early rock and roll, and combining gospel and R&B and country influences with a heavier, percussiveness and electrified guitars. And damn, she just shreds.
Mm-hmm.
And like she was a superstar in her time in the gospel world.
Okay, I will be the first person to say I don't generally like gold hardware, but her that SG is just magical.
Yeah.
To elaborate, so I realized that the previous comment I made didn't make it, was a little rambly, but the thought that I'm having to expound on that is cherry picking contextualization versus sharing all of the contextualization, or look similar at the surface but aren't the same thing. And that's what I want to tell people to be cautious of that. And so cherry picking contextualization is, well, think the white guy who created electricity. Like, come on, that's going to be who you're going to say is a contributor to rock and roll. Like, sure.
That guy was just trying to bait me into responding.
It's cherry picking contextualization in a way to try and force a narrative versus blatantly ignoring other important contextualization pieces. And that is, I mean, it's selective argumentation. So that's problematic. So it's much more important to then say, well, let's look at all of the contextualization and then draw conclusions from that. It's how you end up with data sets that are skewed a certain direction. So if you choose your data set of the white billboards from the 50s, you're going to get a very skewed chart there, a very skewed data set. Even though it is indeed factual, that if you can take a factual data set and get non-factual conclusions from it, and that's data science basics paired up with argumentation. And so just be aware of that when you go to argue with people. I'm more speaking to the listeners, but be aware of that. That's a very easy trap to get sucked into, and it's a line of argumentation that gets you to start questioning things when it doesn't need to be questioned quite that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because it then it kind of requires more research on your part.
Right.
And, you can tell when people in the comments, like, hadn't done a lot of research. I mean, it's just like the Rocket
internet.
88. Well, it's like the Rocket 88 argument that's PR. Rocket 88 is a very important verse, and guitarists know it's an important verse. It's the first distorted guitar tone because there was the broken amplifier. They fixed it with some newspaper that they shoved in there. It gave it a unique tone.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make rock. Effects do not make rock and roll. Effects rarely make genres.
Yeah.
Because if
unless
they did,
you count
then,
like high pass, low pass filtering for EDM, but
I mean, that's what rarely make genres. Like, like instrumentation is important in genres, but like to say you can't have a rock song that doesn't have distortion is wrong. I think we can pretty much agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
There've been tons of great rock songs that don't have distortion.
Sure.
But you can even look at, so when people would say Rocket 88, and I'd be like, well, historians can't even agree on that because they don't like the shuffle rhythm. If you have the more hard 4 on the floor, like you said, that was prominent with Chuck Berry. That's what a lot of people say. But if you want those characteristics in a song, and you look 2 years backwards to 1949's Rock a While by Gory Carter, it has all the same elements minus the distortion. Why isn't that considered the first rock song? It's because it didn't have the same PR.
Right.
But also, you can just kind of tell when people don't read past the first 2 lines on a Wikipedia article. And that's what I actually ended up saying to some guy who said something like, oh, it's surprising to me that you would say as, like, a studier of music that it's widely considered when most music historians agree that it's Rocket 88. I'm like, they really don't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you'll see articles and they'll all say a different song, and they'll say historians widely agree it's one of these. And that's the thing, is it'll see that for different articles because historians generally, it's like, it's one of these. It depends on how you define early rock. Can it have a shuffle rhythm or not? Does it need to have distortion or not? Does it just need to combine these elements? Does it need to be a crossover hit between gospel, pop, and contain these things?
Sure.
Does it need to have like a electrified guitar, country guitar riffs with an R&B beat and some gospel influences and some blues in there? Like, because if that's what it is, then it's Strange Things Happening Every Day by Sister Rosetta Tharpe was the first hit song in 1944 that contained those elements. If you want to look at other songs, there are lots of great contenders, but I'm just saying my point's defensible. My favorite was the guy who came in and said something like we were having an argument, and he said my arrogance was unwarranted, and I was just kind of tired. I'm like, I think it's pretty warranted.
Ad hominem.
And then he said, I have a degree in music. What's your degree in?
These liberal elites are throwing around their pieces of paper.
Yeah. What's my degree in? Thanks for playing.
Right.
So I told him. He did not like that. He did not like that, Andrew. I've never have I pulled that out outside of like a job application
Sure.
process. My degree is in music business and songwriting with an emphasis in leadership from Belmont University, where I graduated with honors, summa cum laude. Thanks for playing. He did not like that. He no longer responded to that thread. And then he said he wasn't going to stop responding because he, quote, had the time. After I pointed out that he was only helping feed the algorithm and giving me more views.
Right.
He only blocked me when I told him he was making me more powerful.
It's over, Anakin. I have the high ground.
I'm actually 2 for 2 with that line when people just won't shut the hell up on my comments.
Yep.
Sure.
Thanks for the algorithm bump.
You're only making me more powerful.
This isn't even my final form.
My brother hit 100,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow. How?
Because he's a very talented artist.
That's
literally it. He doesn't it's not like TikTok dances or anything. He just draws wrestlers, sports ball people, and pop culture figures.
That's cool.
It's really cool. He does lives where he's does the drawings, and he's very engaging.
Well, anyways, my takeaway from that is one, I also enjoy pulling my degree card when it's relevant, which isn't super often, but
it's fun when it is. I don't like to do it. I wouldn't have done it if he wasn't such an asshole about it.
Oh, absolutely. I don't like to pull it just for the power trip, but when someone's because my degree is theology, it's not technical. It says my degree on paper says Bachelor of Arts in Youth Ministry with a emphasis in intercultural ministries. What that really means is I have a degree in theology / organizational dynamics, because that's what the ministry part of it ends up pulling together. And then the intercultural part was I just took a lot of anthropology classes on top of that to look at how the world works, human nature, realizing that America is not the only country in the world. And so that's what my degree was in, and that served me very well. So when someone wants to say, well, this, and this about, theology, and from a very evangelical North American ethnocentric perspective that is completely ignorant of how big the world is and how much depth there is into what was originally an Eastern religion, or Middle Eastern based religion. I'm like, all right, have you considered this? They're like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm a Theo bro. I read John Piper's books. And I'm like, okay, well, I have a degree. I studied this for years, and okay.
I
that's
think
my equivalent.
That the playing the degree should only be used as a reverse Uno card.
Yep.
I really do.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, it should really only be used as reverse Uno.
Yeah, because I don't like doing do you know who because whatever. I don't think I know everything. If anything, my degree taught me that I don't know so much more than I thought I did.
Yeah. And, sometimes I'm wrong about things. I'm wrong a lot, actually. Normally, I just try to say, okay.
Yep.
Guess I was wrong. It happened earlier, I guess, in the week. I feel like I used the word trademark when I meant to say copyright about something. And then some guy was kind of snarky with me. I was in my friend's comment thread. I'm like, I'm not about to have an argument with you about this, sir. So I said, okay. You can tell. Sometimes you can tell when someone just wants to have an argument about something. I'm like, I'm not going to spoil my friend's comment thread.
Sure.
Because you are apparently having a bad day.
I deleted Facebook from my phone again. When I got my new phone, I had to load it to get for a couple different reasons, like getting into Messenger and stuff, because they do keep Messenger. And then
Messenger's great.
I had it on my phone for about a month. Yeah, had to go. And this is terrible.
But how will you know when Noah is being Noah in 60 Cycle Hum?
I check on my laptop every couple of days, but I also did not check social media for 4 days straight this week. Like at all, like not a single piece I didn't check headlines. I didn't check Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, nothing. And I barely touched the Discord server. I did interact with the Discord server. I just ignored the Star Wars talk because I bought the
Star Wars talk is overwhelming.
Oh, it's so much fun. That's one of my favorites right now, especially with Book of Boba Fett finale. But the finale for Book of Boba Fett was this week, and I bought the TV on Wednesday. Didn't have time to hang it up. I tried to hang it up Wednesday night, was done hanging it by like midnight, and I wasn't going to stay up another hour to watch the finale because I had work in the morning. Thursday night was busy. Friday night, finally got around to watching it. And then I knew like Tuesday, I didn't want to see like any preliminary spoilers or anything. So I just 4 days straight, nothing. And you want to know, I almost want to not delete my Instagram, but just take the app off my phone and just check it on the browser once a month.
Once a month?
Something like that. But
Instagram is hemorrhaging losers. And they don't even... Can we just talk about Instagram real quick?
Sure.
So Instagram has this... They changed their UI recently. So on the bottom here, from a UI perspective, is the most important things that you want somebody to do.
Right.
Notice how post isn't any one of these.
Right.
Now post is way up here.
Yes.
They don't want you to post. They just want you to look at shit.
Yep.
They don't care about creators at all, as is evident by they literally don't give a shit about... They have straight up told creators that photo posts are not going to get non-organic, not reach outside of your immediate followers anymore. Yeah. They're like, there's not going to get recommended outside. You have to make reels now. Right.
It's their platform. They can do what they want, but reels is so much more effort. But the other frustrating...
they're trying to compete with TikTok.
Oh, absolutely. What else is new? Zuckerberg stealing other people's ideas? Come on. But I've it's so much easier for me to doom scroll on reels. And I don't like that at all. I fell into the doom scroll trap a little bit Monday night, and next thing I know, I was like, oh, that was an hour and a half, and it's time for me to go to bed, and I'm still wired because I've been staring at a screen. It's way too easy. So
yeah,
I'm not a fan of that part. I've also started utilizing my phone OS to turn it off, turn off certain apps for hours of the day. So right now it's set for my work hours of the day, but I almost want to and then I go to do not disturb an hour before bed. My phone goes to black and white and I don't get notifications.
Huh.
So my window to actually check is really small on a daily basis. And I almost want to make it smaller. Kind of want to give myself a 30-minute window at the end of the day just to quick check notifications and log off.
Be a more present.
I've been more present. I feel less anxious.
That's good.
You talk about I'm an addict.
I gotta stop playing Pokemon right before bed because then I'm just too hyped up. The new Pokemon game. Mm-hmm. I stopped playing it I'm like, okay, stop playing it at 8 o'clock. Because if I play it after 8 o'clock, I just have weird Pokemon dreams and I don't want that.
Ooh, yeah. That sounds frightening.
It's actually it's such a fun little game.
You know what I want Instagram to be?
What?
Actually social media for me to interact with my friends, because I just message 90% of what I do on the app outside of doom scrolling, which I don't want to be doing. So most of what I want to actually do on the app is just comment on friends' photos and message friends to coordinate things, because it's a lot easier to keep for friends who are constantly changing phone numbers and stuff like that. For financial reasons.
I hate Instagram messaging. I wish it would stop sending me messages on Instagram.
It's the only reason. That's the only thing I keep on my phone Facebook wise is the Messenger app. It's just so I can keep in touch with people. For people who don't live in the U.S., because I've got a lot of international friends, and for people who are honestly, that's just what they use anyways. That's the bulk of what I want to use it for. Is just keeping in touch with. I don't know.
Yeah,
I try to keep up with Fox Cairo socials around Black Friday, and I got so burned so quickly trying to keep up with daily posting.
Ugh. Just schedule that shit out.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I don't like, well, yeah, it is better to like post daily, and I've been trying to do that.
Right, but it's exhausting. It's not necessarily healthy. So, yeah.
I think I need more coffee. I think
I need to run to the store and grab some veggies.
Yeah. All right.
It's time to hit Super Bowl mode. We're gonna.
I'm so scared.
Don't be scared.
I'm so nervous.
Don't be mad. Be glad.
Well, please like, comment, subscribe below. Please leave a review and rating on iTunes.
Indeed. iTunes. This show.
This is a good place. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/getoffset. We have merch at getoffsetpodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to sponsor this podcast, we have sponsorship spots available.
Indeed. Do it. I will do all the ad rolls.
Well, thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for understanding. Until next time, my name is Emily.
And my name is Andrew.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You remember to say goodbye this time.
I did.